Now, the B-52 truly is a strange aircraft from nose to tail. I mean, just look at the engine configuration. We don't have, just 4 engines like a 747 or a 707 from this time. No, we have 8 engines. And I mean, just look at the cockpit, which is just full of engines. Look at the throttle handle, which is just full of many engines. Not only that, this plane is also, I think, the biggest airplane to feature ejection seats. We can actually eject out of the aircraft. We've just done that. I feel like that is, that's not been the smartest idea. This plane obviously was built for one purpose only, and that is being a long-range strategic bomber plane. Down here in its belly, as you can see in this interesting hole, there are great many weapons that can be loaded. Look at the great many weapons bringing freedom upon you. Look at the payload this thing can carry. This thing can carry lots of payload over an extremely long range. This thing can fly for 14,000 kilometers, which in freedom units is 8,800 miles. If it's empty, it can even fly longer, 16,000 kilometers, 10,000 miles. That is an unbelievably long range for the 1950s when this plane was put to the sky for the first time. It can fly at 50,000 feet as well, and can climb at 6,200 feet per minute. Look at how thin it is, especially compared to these very weirdly swept wings, which are very thick at the same time. All the wings are huge for no reason. This thing is like a person with huge ears. The thinness of the airplane also shows in the weird landing gear this airplane has. I mean, it doesn't really have a nose landing gear. It kind of has 4 main landing gears. It's kind of weird. For steering this airplane on the ground, the, front 2 wheels spin. But there's more wheels to this airplane. Because the landing gear configuration is quite thin, this airplane can tip over very quickly. In fact, we've kind of done that now. We also have stabilizer landing gear on the wings, which is very interesting. Looks kind of like a children's bike. Let's go ahead and take off. And this airplane also flies incredibly weirdly. It needs a weirdly long runway. We need to put out the flaps a weirdly high amount. This is the little flap lever. We need to trim this airplane interestingly. It's just how, just the center of gravity seems a bit off. It seems like the wing is just attached way too far up front into the airplane. Anyway, let's see if we can take off from Corfu Airport, which is barely possible on this airplane. It's actually not possible at all. Oh my god. It can slowly take off after what we've hit our airplane at. Yeah, we've kind of done a takeoff, nothing to worry about. Look at the way the landing gear comes into the airplane. It switches and twitches around, and then we can set off to our extremely long voyage. This plane is full of interesting features. For example, it has a drag chute, as you can see, and I think if we would deploy that in midair, it wouldn't be a good idea. Oh, we've done that. This is obviously for stopping this airplane. Probably the brakes aren't very good. Also, these engines don't have reverse thrust. So overall, it had an interesting purpose that couldn't be further from what an airliner does. Right? r/aviation, why not modify B-52 bomber to passenger aircraft? It has been on service for 65 years and proven to be capable of flight long with heavy payload. The English is absolutely terrible here. And the idea is terrible. So terrible, in fact, that I've realized it. Well, kind of, in the flight simulator. As you can see, we have made an American Airlines B-52. And once again, this is one of the least plausible projects that we've done on the channel. I mean, some of the projects make sense. For example, what if you put seats into a beluga and fill it up with 1,000 people that all suffocate because the cargo hold isn't pressurized? Anyway, look at this, everybody. We have created a B-52 that has a working cabin. Now, the cockpit is still 1950s and old and miserable. But if we go like Harry Potter, so through the wall right here, we can see our cabin indeed. We can look outside our door and we can see an aeroplane. We can see the B-52 engine. This is the cabin. And we already can notice that there's definitely some design problems, but more on that later. Would it not be an odd view to be in a high-wing aircraft like this, being able to see the Earth from 50,000 feet? Yes, it would be. interesting. And here we come to the first problem of the B-52. See, what I've done here is practically just incorporate a Boeing 737 fuselage in its 1:1 size. I had to narrow the fuselage down a little bit of the 737, but the truth about the B-52 is that it's extremely narrow of an airplane. It really is a pencil. And also the fuselage in itself isn't very long, not much longer than the 737, so we couldn't fit more passengers than the 737, although we have literally 8 engines. Overall, to make this airplane in real life work somehow, I think you would have to do lots of changes to the design itself. Because as far as I'm aware, the actual cabin space, so what is inside of the fuselage, is not accessible. It's not a cabin. The huge landing gear takes away a huge amount of the fuselage space, as you can see, which is why here this model is broken. The landing gear gets into our cabin. There is just not enough space for cabin and the huge, weirdly designed landing gear. And don't even get me started about, cargo space to, put all your extra paid baggage into the plane. Absolutely impossible. Let's see if we can take off. I mean, the good thing about the B-52 is that it can carry a lot of stuff, so fat people would be able to board the plane no problem. So let's see, we need to put the flaps down, I think all the way for a proper takeoff, and the flaps go out all the way. Oh my god, what in the world is even going on here? Oh, come on, fly properly. Lift up, lift. That is a very strange behavior. Yes, this concept is insanely impractical. For some reason, we can see through the windows. Let's go ahead and put the landing gear up right now, which is a little bit broken. I apologize about this very, very, very poor modeling. As you can see, the landing gear door closes. Kind of. There's still a hole here. There's a lot that this is a very poorly oh my goodness, stop. It's just to visualize how stupid the idea of a B-52 airliner is. Look, the gear is inside of our cabin just because there is not enough space. Oh, but we get great views from the overwing. No, this is absolutely the worst idea in the world. Like, look at the high aspect ratio wing. I don't even want to know what it's like to fly this airplane in crosswind. I don't even want to know what it's like to land the airplane overall. Let's maybe try doing that. All right, let's see. Maybe this add-on is a little flawed too, to be honest. Let's see. Put the landing gear down again. Yeah. Free up some cabin space. Am I right? The flaps come down all the way. The odd landing gear comes down all the way. How do you even properly land this plane? I mean, in this plane, you can definitely land low scanning gear first. It really doesn't matter because they're both the same. So you could do some weird landings with this plane and it wouldn't matter. Let's put out the air brakes right here. It looks like that. Oh, this airplane needs, oddly, a lot of knots to fly. We're now at 150 knots, as you can tell. Okay. It doesn't matter if we land nose first, right? Okay, that was not a pleasing sound. But either way, we have landed nicely, and, wing strikes are no problem. Now, how do we brake in this plane? Obviously, we put on the wheel brakes, but also, we need to put on the drag chute right there. And that brings out the drag chute, and that makes us stop. Now, the problem is that is super impractical for airlines because they need to restow that drag chute after every landing, making turnaround times probably a nightmare. In fact, this is a fever dream of a idea. All right, let me try doing a normal passenger flight now. I mean, look, in real life, we could build this. Like, you could make this and people would be able to actually fly it. It just wouldn't make much sense. Let's maybe see. We're now at LAX, which has a bit of a longer runway. Let's hope that we're able to take off from this one. We're going to probably use the whole runway too. And then take off very oddly. Very, very weird. Come on. You can do it. Yeah. No. Yeah. Why does the nose want to come up first here? Okay, we needed the whole run. Okay, this is probably not a realistic model, to be honest. Okay, let's pretend we didn't crash through the entire city of Los Angeles. And we can now take off. All right, look at that. At 16 times speed, we can nicely ascend. After all, as I've mentioned before, this airplane has incredible climb performance after all, which is weird because it doesn't have good takeoff performance. Now, with this old instrument, I don't even know how high we are because the altimeter only shows thousands a foot. So I don't know how many 4,000s we're high. I guess we'll have to eyeball our altitude. It looks pretty high already. Yes, this should be probably 30,000 feet. As we're entering the desert, let's pull up a bit more. And this airplane is incapable of actually reaching 50,000. We're at 37,000 now, so I think the flight model is just generally broken. But I mean, this is a cool look. Seeing outside of the airplane, and it looks like this. You have 8 engines. Those would be a lot to service, by the way. It makes sense. This plane was made for military economics, where they don't really care about money that much. They don't have to be profitable. This would be the least profitable airplane in the world. It would be cool, and you would never encounter the dangers of engine failures in any way ever, because you have like 8 backups. That's a lot of birds to strike you. Well, this would just be extremely dumb. Hey, but we can do this, and we can now eject. Oh, everyone's dead now. Well, it's not a lot of people. This thing can't carry much. So overall, we can say just because Boeing made it, it's not an airliner, and it shouldn't be ever thought of as an airliner. Let me do one last good landing. Probably impossible. Just for coolness sake, let's go ahead and put up the drag chute while we fly, so we don't have to... Yeah, look at that. All right, come on, let's do a smooth landing. Let's do a smooth landing. That is beyond impossible. That is crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go. The truth is, the B-52 will fly for the Air Force for quite a long time, which is good, but just not for American Airlines, and probably not for Japan Airlines either. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. As always, good night. And a special thanks goes out to my members, my supporters: Guns Killer, R27, James Duram, That Dude, Anime Gods of Gaming, Derek, Insider Plane, Nishijitsu Finer, Professional Jamal, Ryland Williams, and New the York. You've got beautiful names.